Social 10, been a long time. I hope you guys are all doing well. I just wanted to check in. I know I told you about this website, but I have to get approval from the district, and I haven't heard back from them because the company that it's set up with is from the States. Anyway, so that's going to be put on ice, but I just wanted to do it this way until we get that sorted out. So where we left off was coming up to World War II. This is the good stuff. It would be. I really wish we could have been in class for this. I really wanted to go into the Spanish Civil War, but I don't really have time to do that. So today, I'm gonna be talking about, just very briefly, is appeasement. So appeasement is what Britain, particularly Britain, but France as well, how they responded to German aggression. Now we've learned all about Hitler's greasy rise to power, right? His moves don't stop there. Now, you have to understand that if Hitler told Neville Chamberlain, who's Prime Minister of the UK at the time, say in 1935 or 36, he said, "Hey, Neville, it's Adolf," on the phone or whatever, and he's like, I'm going to totally rearm the military, break that from the Treaty of Versailles. I'm going to occupy the Rhineland. I know I'm not allowed to do that. I'm going to basically annex Czechoslovakia, and then I'm going to invade Poland. They'd be like, absolutely not, no way. But no, Hitler's smart, right? He knows you got to act. You'd be surprised what you can get if you ask for it the right way. Now, he goes in and, he rearms and is open about it. And it's in violation of the Treaty of Versailles. And people are like, don't do anything. And then 1936, he goes into the Rhineland and they don't do anything. And then in 1938, he goes basically annexes Austria. Now, Austrians are German-speaking people, a lot of them, okay? And a lot of them supported him. So they were like, Germany, Austria, they're basically one and the same, whatever. Okay, even though that's in violation of the Treaty of Versailles. Okay, and then he finally gets into an issue when he tries to annex Czechoslovakia. The reason he wants to do this is because there's an area of Czechoslovakia called the Sudetenland. It's kind of on the outside of the country, and there are German-speaking people there who are like a minority, and he said they're not being treated right, whatever. And he's saying, hey, they're Germans, I'm just trying to unite the German people. And they're like, no, but like this is too far, we need to talk about this. So Neville Chamberlain, the Prime Minister of Britain, and then Mussolini's there, but you should see the photos, it's so funny. It's just like some dude who shouldn't even be there, like that no one cares about. But anyway, and Chamberlain sits him down and says, okay, look, like he realizes Hitler will not accept no. He has to have the Sudetenland. And he's like, okay, look, finally he says, we'll give you the Sudetenland, but you have to promise me, like written down here, you're going to sign it, no more expansionist moves. You promise, like pinky swear, like very weak. Appeasement is a very weak kind of policy. And Hitler says, yeah, I promise nothing. He says, I promise I will never make any more expansionist moves after this. So he signs the document. Chamberlain goes home. Pretty embarrassing because he gets off the plane like with this piece of paper, and he's like, I've achieved peace in our time. Famous last words, as they say. The whole idea is, like, the big picture of this is Hitler is strategic in climbing that greasy ladder, right, to get what he wants. And after the Munich Agreement, they think they're good. Okay, but there's some other. Hitler has like an ace of spades up his sleeve, where he ends up just kind of taking over the rest of Czechoslovakia, but he does it in a way that says, "Oh, we're their protectorate." So basically, they have control of the whole country. But he doesn't. So again, it's kind of a weird move to do that. Where he does get into trouble is September 1st, 1939, he invades Poland. Now that's the start of World War II. I think it's the day after is when Britain and France declare war on Germany. Because Poland is a sovereign state, and, that's where the war, gets, basically starts, right? But you have to understand too, this ace of spades he has is in 1938. This stuff is all in the PowerPoint. I just want to kind of discuss it with you all a bit. In 1938, this Nazi-Soviet pact is signed. Now, Nazism and communist or Stalinism are total opposites, right? They hate each other. Okay, communists and fascists they're not fond of one another. So the whole world was shocked when this agreement was signed, but it was signed as a non-aggression pact to sort of temporarily just not have to worry about each other, okay? And there was a secret clause in it that basically divided Poland. Germany were like, we're going into Poland, but we don't want you to attack us when we do. Russia was just like, okay, well, you give us half of Poland and it's a deal. And they're like, sweet, let's do it. So that's basically what happened. So this was all planned well in advance of any of this appeasement stuff. The interesting thing about appeasement too is throughout all of these different times, from the rearmament to the Rhineland to Austria to the Munich Agreement and all that, Germany was not ready to fight, okay? They became ready in that last sort of year, but if France and Britain stood up to them, they'd be in trouble, okay? But you have to understand that nobody wanted to fight. The French especially, they had World War One, like, whoa, they were not gonna go to war over, oh, the Germans are rearming, big deal, like, it's just like, wasn't gonna happen. All right, so appeasement was, it's very easy to look back on it and say what an idiot Chamberlain was. And I think he was, and I mean, sorry, in my opinion, not the sharpest tool in the shed, but there's a guy there, Winston Churchill, who was the opposition at the time. From the very beginning, he was like, this guy's trouble. No, you gotta stop him, you gotta stop him, you gotta stop him. Okay? And, his words were true. So I'm gonna send you this PowerPoint in addition to what I kind of am discussing now. I just want you to respond to a quote by Churchill about appeasement. I'll send it to you. It's clever, and I just want you, but I want you to look at both sides of it. So it is a good quote that he says. It's like I forget exactly. I'll send it on the email, but it's like appeasement is like feeding a crocodile, hoping that he eats you last. And that was what became true. But on the other side of it, I do want you to look at, it's easy to look back in the past and say you should have done this, you should have done that. Nobody wanted, all the people that died in World War One, they're like, we're in no rush to go to war. So that was the other side of it. Like, imagine you're a mother in France and you had 3 sons that died in the trenches, okay? And then there's news about Nazi aggression? Are you going to be like, woo, let's go? No. You're going to be like, no war, we've been there, I'm never going there again. You know, our birth rate has gone so far down in this country, took us so long to recover, right? So I want you to think about that aspect too. But yeah, so that's all I got for you for now, and I'd like to apologize. And it's this kind of virtual learning is a lot more difficult in practice than it is in theory. I am excited about moving on to World War II, especially our comparisons with Dunkirk and Stalingrad. I think that's something that we really I hope that you enjoy. And what else? Yeah, I miss you guys. Really, it's like, the first couple of weeks it was like, oh, kind of a extended spring break sort of, and now it's like, God, I wish I could just teach you guys. But anyway, it's kind of what we got to do for now. And for next week, I am going to open, a Zoom at particular times that we have class. But I've done that for other classes this week, and it's just gone nowhere. So you just got to be a little patient with me. And the assignment is attached. And I'd like you, and I'll get those, the COVID responses back to you by the end of the week. So that's it for me. I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll talk to you soon.